welcome back to the TVcast, the show where we talk about TV shows, streaming shows, whatever, series, and we don't care about spoiling them. We're hunting for them clicks since everyone's watching shows nowadays for the movies. If you're familiar with a real show, the spoiler cast, you know what this is. You know, it's the same thing, but we're talking about series, episodic content instead of feature-length content.
Well, feature length is, it's still kind of feature length nowadays.
It is kind of feature length nowadays, yeah.
Especially if you watch more than one episode.
Yeah. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host of both shows, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And in the last episode, our first official episode, there is actually a pilot episode where we talked about the first episode of She-Hulk on our Patreon. Check that out, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene if you want that and more exclusive episodes. But our first official episode, we talked about Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, episode 1 and 2.
Yes.
Which spoilers for that, we weren't super happy with it, either of us, I think.
But we had reasons, so...
We had reasons. It wasn't just, black elves,
no.
There's much more wrong with it. That's not even really a problem. There's much bigger things to discuss when it comes to that show.
Yes.
But anyway, so we thought we should continue the theme, because we have both been watching another fantasy show based on a book. I think it's based on a book.
If not, it's loosely based on the book series in general, I suppose.
Yeah. Which we, spoilers for this conversation, kind of like. So today we're discussing episode 1, 2, and 3 of House of Dragon. The House of Dragon.
No, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. Stupid titles.
That one is actually okay, except for it has
a
smaller title on the poster, which is Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Right. Because it's technically a spin-off. It should be called The House of Dragons, I think.
Yeah.
Since there's several members
they're the House
family.
of the Dragon when you say it. The Targaryens are the House of the Dragon.
I guess.
But it's the House of the Dragon, at least. Either way,
yeah. So this is a spin-off on or it's a prequel to the Game of Thrones series. And it is based on a book, right? Fire and Blood, I think. It's a book that
I'm not entirely sure.
R.R. Martin wrote. I read that somewhere. I also know that some of the characters were introduced in short stories and stuff. The little kid that's introduced in the third episode, Aegon. He was introduced in a short story called Dunk and Egg. Egg being Aegon's nickname. Something like that. I don't know. Honestly, I've only read the first 2 books. I've only seen the first season of the Game of Thrones TV show, and then random episodes of the other seasons. And I was never a huge fan. I thought the book was good. I thought the TV show was pretty good, at least the first season. But it wasn't enough for me to care. So I wasn't even going to watch this. It was mainly just partly, curiosity to see if they were gonna do it better than, from what I heard, the ending of Game of Thrones. Just wanted to see if they would capture that feeling of the first season, and partly, I guess, FOMO, because
everyone's talking about
Game of Thrones. So. Yeah, you kind of have to. So that's why I watched the first episode, and I gotta say, maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I thought the first episode, at least the first episode, was much better than the original show. I thought the first episode was fucking great.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion, to be honest.
Okay.
I think a few people are agreeing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that means...
I gotta say, I haven't read much at all about what people think of the show. I've just watched
I've only seen thumbnails and shit, but I think that's at least the consensus I've noticed.
Yeah.
Personally...
Yes.
I watched the entire Game of Thrones. I even, watched as the episodes released towards the end.
Yeah, you were following the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of other people, I liked the last season. So
what?
Yes, I didn't mind it. I'd seen everything. It made sense to me. I don't mind whatever happened, and people hating on it is just stupid to me. Because
really?
I don't feel like they watched the entire show.
Some of the criticism is valid.
Not that I can remember. No, I am rewatching it at the moment, so I mean we'll get to it. Maybe I'll change my mind.
I have no point of reference other than like video essays I've seen about it, and then it just sounds like the worst shit ever.
I didn't agree, and as far as I know, I still won't agree. Either way,
okay.
I've only read. I think I read the first book. If I even finished that, I'm not sure. Wasn't my kind of structure in a book. I couldn't really handle the whole jumping in between characters.
Yeah, not
messed
me
me up
either.
too much.
Which is why I'm kind of worried because I have an interest, and I have bought the first Wheel of Time book, and I hear it's kind of similar when it comes to a bunch of characters and stuff. So. But I also hear that book is amazing. That's some. But anyway. But
regarding House of the Dragon, I'm so happy. It's so great. The small like criticisms that people have had, I don't agree at all. I don't see the issues with some of the SFX or.
No.
Like, there's too much going on that you won't notice small errors. Digital errors.
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything like that. Although I did watch most of the... second half of the third episode I watched on my phone. But other than that, I watched it on my big, nice 4K TV, so I haven't noticed anything.
No, I think it was mostly in the first episode that people noticed dragons looking weird at some point. Like, I didn't think of it.
And the only thing I've read, which also, can't really affect me since I didn't watch the original show, or not most of it at least, is that some people are really feeling this, the prequel curse, like, yeah, all this is just setting up stuff we know is going to happen later.
Oh, no, I don't agree.
I don't know.
Because it takes place 172 years before Daenerys Targaryen is even born, which is another, 12, 15 years before the actual Game of Thrones series starts.
It's around 200 years before the Game of Thrones show starts, yeah.
So... whenever these people die, which, the show isn't gonna go on for generations, probably. It's gonna be about these people who are alive right now. It's gonna be, what's her name?
Rhaenyra?
Rhaenyra? Yeah. I was about to say Renesmee. That's another one.
That's another... What's that from? Renesmee?
That's from Twilight, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, the mean redhead vampire, right?
No, the kid, the baby, the weird child.
Oh, right. I've only seen the first movie, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't even know where I was going with this anymore. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's like even if it's a prequel, and,
right? It's gonna take. It's gonna serve. It's gonna be about her, basically.
Yeah.
So whenever she dies, the show is gonna end. I assume. It's not like we're gonna follow her children and whoever's children, and then get back to when Daenerys is born.
No, I'm
so I feel like they're gonna have some liberties to do whatever they want. That's not even mentioned in the original show.
Yeah. Now, based on what I've read about the show and what I've read about that book or whatever this is based on, this is about the beginning of the end of House Targaryen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they've been they've been on top of the world up until now, and when Paddy Considine's character, the king, what's his name?
Viserys.
When he takes over as king in the beginning, that's kind of the start of the downfall, because he's going to be like the last good king or something like that.
Yeah,
and he's not even that great of a king, which I love. Is beautifully symbolized by him slowly rotting away, like literally rotting.
Well, that and all the other stuff.
Yeah, and the other stuff, of course. But because he's not fit to be king. That's why when he hurt himself on the throne, the
it's slowly killing him.
Which is a myth they talked about in the books and in the show.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but other than all that...
So all in all, the show is so far really good.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. And you know what I love the most?
No.
It is that it's not doing what all other TV shows are doing, which, specifically we talked about in the last episode about Rings of Power. It's not... excuse me. It's not like 16 different storylines going on at the same time. This has basically one...
Yes.
2 if you want to stretch it, because Daemon and his war in the Stepstones now, it just feels like it's a different, it's another part of the Rhaenyra storyline.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's a separate storyline. It's just another branch.
Yeah, exactly. This is all just one storyline about House Targaryen and more specifically, King Viserys and his daughter Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
It's not like, a bunch of stuff going on at the same time over in Lannisport and then out in the Iron Isles. No, it doesn't matter. All is focused on King's Landing and what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's super focused, which means that even just 3 episodes in, we have had time to develop these characters and get to know these characters. Instead of just continually introducing new characters, which I mean, that's also like looking at the original Game of Thrones. In the first episode, they introduce I think 3 different storylines. You have, of course, Stark, whatever, Eddard Stark becoming being asked to be the King's Hand. You have whatever. Lena Headey's character and Nikolai Coster-Waldau, their incestuous relationship.
The Lannister twins.
The Lannister twins, yeah, and their storyline about wanting to take back the throne, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, of course, Kit Harington, the bastard.
Going to the wall.
Going to the wall. That's 3. And if you once again, if you want to stretch it a little bit, you also have oh shit. The other brother, the dwarf.
The imp?
The imp, yeah.
Well, they call him the imp.
I know, they call him imp, yeah.
Yeah, whatever, I can't remember his name
I
either.
don't remember his name.
Short dude.
The actor's name. Yeah.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, thank you.
It's the actor,
just scheming in the background.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first episode!
Even though him all on his own is not technically a storyline, he's just involved in everything.
Yeah, sort of.
However, I have to mention that because... we're not bashing on the original too much here.
No.
Even though the original has a bunch of storylines, they're all very delicately intertwined at certain points from the get-go. So it makes sense that it's the same overarching story just taking place in different areas, and you see it from different points of views. Comparing then to, like we said in Rings of Power, that's just 3 separate storylines that have nothing to do with each other after 2 episodes. They still have nothing to do with each other.
2 of them feel like they're going to connect, but the third is just like, what is the point of this?
Yeah. When will this make sense together? If you don't start introducing it in episode 2, like how long can you go until they do start intertwining?
Yeah. Especially since we talk like that, it's going to be 10 episodes. No, 8 episodes.
8 even, in season 1.
Yeah, so they're 1/4 through the season already. And,
yeah, and we still don't know how that's gonna make sense.
They haven't gotten anywhere.
While House of the Dragon have 10 episodes, and they're already very streamlined, even though there's different points of views to the story. It's still just one main story.
It has 2 main characters, really, and that is Viserys and Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And then you have secondary characters, Daemon, and I'm guessing, like, the wife, which was Rhaenyra's friend. What's her name?
Alicent Hightower.
All right.
And the Hand's daughter.
Yeah, the Hand's daughter.
I mean, sure, you have a few... You have a few B characters and a few C characters that you need to kind of keep track of. But then you have... I don't even want to call it... It's like a Z character, like the Crab King or whatever he called himself.
Yeah. That feels like, well, we need a White Walker in this one, so let's throw in something weird here. The Crab Feeder,
we just need a random shit to happen over here for a while so we can distract And I'm sure it's going to add up to something in the end, even though they kind of closed that storyline quite quickly.
Yeah, they killed him in the third episode.
But I feel like it might still be something that comes back. Like the place it took place or something is going to be used for something.
I think it's more just to show that Daemon is still a viable threat.
Sure,
even though he was kind of cucked in the second episode when he was like, "I should be king," and Rhaenyra just showed up on her dragon and said, "No, you're not.
Give me the egg.
Me back the egg, bitch." And he was like, "Ugh, okay,
fine." He does have a soft spot for her because she's still his favorite relative. I think.
Yeah, and if I know George R. Martin, it's an incestuous soft spot.
Yes, probably.
It's a very delicate soft spot, if you know.
Probably.
Yeah. Which also another thing. This really feels like, I know people talking about like Game of Thrones was when HBO kind of matured, and made like bigger, better shows, but but they still did like Sopranos before that and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is just...
But still, But I gotta say, that show was still like, ooh, we're HBO, so we're gonna show as much blood and boobs and, we're gonna swear as much as we can. There's almost none of that in this.
There's some blood, but that's it.
Yeah, there's still a bit of blood in the tourney, and of course when they're fighting. And we had one scene in a whorehouse, like, oh yes, a bunch of naked people.
It wasn't like them walking naked straight towards the camera.
No, there was,
like we have in Game of Thrones in like episode 1 even. We have like naked people just standing in front of the camera. Hello.
Yeah. It's just like, it was HBO saying, yeah, we're HBO, so we can show boobs and blood.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Yeah, that was my explanation to my boyfriend when we started watching. It's like, it's HBO. They will have a lot of sex and nudity. It's not porn, but it's close enough.
Yeah. So I like that too. It doesn't feel like they're, because I don't mind boobs. Hey, I don't mind. But
who the fuck
in a lot of HBO stuff, and especially Game of Thrones, it felt like they just did it because they could.
Oh, yes.
And here, at least it fills some sort of purpose.
Yes. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't feel like they're just doing it because they want, like, the shock value.
Exactly. Yeah.
However...
No, instead we have, like emotionally impactful scenes with Rhaenyra and, damn it, Alicent. Like, she prays, she helps her friend pray for her mother, which she's never done before, and she's crying, and I was like, oh my god, I'm feeling things here. It's not just scheming, backstabbing, blood, boobs, that's violence.
Yeah, that's the difference that I do like about this one, is that it's more contained in a way, because we have, first of all, fewer main characters, and it's very centered on their emotions instead of like everything that's happening around them. We don't, even though there's a war going on sort of with the Crab King or whatever, and the whole fight for the throne between the brothers, but it's still like, we're still gonna focus on but we're still gonna focus a lot on the family aspect here. And their relationship and how fragile it is, and even though they do stuff they kind of have to for the realm, they try to do it with, still respecting each other, sort of.
Yeah.
Even though the king literally just broke one of the biggest things you can ever do to a daughter, is like stealing her best friend. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
I get why, and it's not his fault, because, Hightower kind of planted his daughter there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that is this like scheming from his.
That is
part,
the first
if that's
scheming,
gonna
yes.
If that's going to lead somewhere. Well, obviously it is.
He literally told her, "You go talk to the king. I bet he needs comfort, and you're gonna wear your mother's dress."
Nice dress. Yeah. And then talking to her about like how to coach him, basically. Like, they're planning something. That's obvious.
I'm not sure she's entirely in on it.
No,
or if she's just doing what her dad.
She seems to genuinely like Viserys.
Yeah, they had.
At least, now after some time has passed.
Yeah, she started enjoying their conversations, and then she didn't mind.
Yeah,
obviously.
Exactly. yeah.
That's the only issue I have, I think, with this show is, between the first and second episode, it's 6 months.
Yeah.
Between the second and the third, it's about 2 years and a little.
Yeah, at some point they skip forward and Egon is 2 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. Confused me like hell the first time. I was like, wait, hold up.
Oh.
Where? What? Why? How? What happened in between? Because we haven't seen anything.
Much happened.
No, obviously they didn't even talk in between because they're still mad as hell at each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that comes to a head in that episode, which I liked.
Sure, yeah. It just I had to rewind. Like,
actually, for the first time in 2 years, they actually talked to each other, and he wasn't like, "Well, you're a princess and I'm a king. You're gonna do what?" No, he was like a nice, caring dad to her. It was like, wow, are we sure this is George R.R. Martin? There's no like stabbing or slapping or sexual abuse or anything.
There'll be stuff like that in the future.
I'm sure it's coming. But so far, I'm just like, oh, this is so well written.
Even
so
Matt
nice.
Smith's character is somewhat kind to the people he actually cares about. He's not rude or a soft Joffrey.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, yeah, they're setting him up to be the asshole, but he seems to actually care about his wife, or what's her name?
Missaria? I think it was.
Yeah, Missaria. Right. Yeah.
Like he doesn't become rude when she storms off like anyone else would have.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Game of Thrones.
Like, how dare you speak to me like that? And then slap her.
No, he's like, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Which is also interesting because the Targaryen house, the Targaryen family, was seen as like the worst people in the original show.
Yeah,
they were like the Mad King something who ruled before the current king in the beginning of that show.
Yeah.
And they were driven back across the narrow sea because of it, and
see, that's the thing though.
Someone killed off all the dragons and stuff.
In Game of Thrones, we don't really get to hear too much about like what happened before the Mad King, which is this. This is what happened before the Mad King. The Mad King kind of tainted every Targaryen in history because of his being mad and slaughtering children in front of their parents, basically.
What was the Mad King's name? Because I've tried to like figure out like, oh, is that him? When they talk about someone, is that him? But I mean, it can't be because it's like 150 years before this. The Mad King, Game of Thrones. Aerys the Second.
Aerys the Second, right?
Right. So they haven't mentioned an Aerys yet. I was like, is it Aegon? Is that the Mad King? No, it's not. Aerys the Second Targaryen. There's a picture of him, like an actor.
Yeah.
Maybe they've done like flashbacks to him or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, that's also something they haven't so far, alluded to yet. Because he succumbed to the madness. It says here, if you read on Game of Thrones wiki, he succumbed to the madness caused by his incestuous lineage. Like, so far, they're not marrying within the family yet. Even though there are some hints at it.
Yes, they're talking about it, though, because they...
Rhaenyra.
Not just them. The sea snake dude.
Yeah.
They have Valyrian and Targaryen blood.
Yeah, but it's just still just like cousin, so that's fine when it comes to the gene pool. It's still frowned upon, but it's fine. Genetically speaking.
Yeah, sure. But they're talking about keeping the blood pure.
Yes, I know. So I guess that's going to get worse and worse the further we get into the show.
I mean, they're even trying to... Hightower is like, you should, make your daughter and son get engaged. Promise them to each other so you won't have to have all the suitors. Like, come on. Really? Because we haven't had enough talk about it, so it sounds very strange when he suggests that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's why I'm a little bit like I'm excited. This is which I told you this. This is the first time in a long time that I'm excited to watch the next episode or something. It doesn't feel like, oh, I gotta watch another one. Here, like, no, I want to watch it.
Yes.
It's exciting. I want to know what happens next.
Adding to that, though, is the fact that there's actually a bunch of dragons straight up.
Yes, that's also like...
there's actual dragons in fantasy now. It's not just the 3 dragons growing up towards the end of Game of Thrones, and they're barely used. No, there's dragons in every episode, and they're used for so much.
Yeah, that's interesting because I mean, like, I was gonna say for the longest time, but I mean, almost like since forever when it comes to movies and TV shows, dragons are so rare.
Oh, yes. I mean, I can understand that back in the days, it's kind of hard to animate them, probably.
Sure. But
I mean, they did fine in like, Aragon. No.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Aragon.
Yeah, Aragon, yeah.
It's almost like Aragorn, but not quite.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Yeah. But yeah,
since then, we haven't had... we had Smaug.
Yeah.
But he was mostly coiled up in a cave.
Exactly. We only see him fly around for like 20 minutes in the third movie.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, because dragons are so cool. But I guess
dragons
also they are cool because we don't see them too much. That's
sure.
Obviously, like that's a thing. If we see them all the time, we're going to get used to them. And, you know, and that's why I'm glad that there's not dragons and everything, but I'm also glad that we fucking get a lot of dragons in this show. I love it.
They even talk about dragons like flying around in the wild now because one dragon sort of escaped.
Yeah, because that was back when I did another not podcast but show on my YouTube channel, which you can listen to this podcast on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/don'tmakeascene. I had like an episode a day where we would talk about like why aren't there more dragons in fantasy media. Because even in video games where they could just animate stuff, there's not a lot of dragon games.
No. And you know what? A few weeks ago, I just thought there's one game that did dragons really well.
Yeah?
I keep forgetting what it's called, but I think it was for the PS3 or 4 where you were a dragon rider.
Oh, you mean
and there
Lair?
was constant and there was constant war.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
That game got dumped on, but I loved it.
I loved it, too.
I loved it, yeah.
I don't understand why people didn't like it. I mean, it was kind of...
the AI sucked and the controls were bad. So
yeah, and it wasn't the...
In a flying game, you need good controls.
And there wasn't that much of a story that happened, really. We were just flying around spewing fire on people.
Yeah. But goddamn was it satisfying to fly around and burning stuff, yeah. But yeah, I was gonna do an episode on like I said, why aren't there more dragons in fantasy media or fantasy in general? And we were even gonna like, I even like for a while tried to find as many dragon movies as possible, and I mean there are some. Of course, one of my favorites, which is also kind of a forgotten movie, is Reign of Fire, which takes place in like a post-apocalyptic future where dragons took over the world, basically.
Oh yeah, that's from like 2000 something.
Yeah, like 2000 2001, and I don't know, it got a bad rap back then, but I rewatched it. If it was last year or the year before.
Is it with Matthew McConaughey?
Yes. Before his reconnaissance, he actually like played not a cool hunk in a romantic comedy. He did like a crazy warrior guy in a dark fantasy movie. I was like, oh, okay.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I mean, not like an amazing like masterpiece of emotions and themes and depth, but it's a great fucking action movie about dragons. It's awesome.
Oh my god. You have Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, Gerard Butler, and Isabella Scorupco.
Yes, it's amazing.
What the fuck?
And you have fucking they call them like angels that hunt. They're dragon hunters that hunt them like by flying through the air.
Nice.
It's so cool. Anyway, yeah.
Kind of got off topic here, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Now that's the thing, like, I have two guilty pleasures when it comes to fantasy. One is airships. I don't care if the movie or the book is the worst ever. If there's airships in it, I love it. Second one is dragons. I love dragons.
Yeah, I'm in on it for dragons. I'm not sure about airships, but... dragons, hell yes.
Yeah, so that is circling back then, that is a big part of why I like this show.
Yes.
The dragons are awesome, and I love that they're in the show a lot. They're riding dragons and they're burning shit. And...
So the House of the Dragon has not only the visuals with the dragons and all that in general. I mean visuals in general. The throne looks amazing. The sets look amazing. I can't think of anything visually that I don't like, to be honest.
No, I think
even like I said, some people have mentioned the special effects. points, but I didn't even notice them. It looks more or less perfect in my eyes.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed anything.
But we also have a great storyline being told, and told through interesting characters that have character.
Yeah, that aren't just evil scheming. Like they're empathetic, sympathetic characters, especially Viserys and Rhaenyra.
I like also that Rhaenyra she has similarities to Daenerys, but she's very different at the same time.
Yeah.
There's this nice, it's almost a callback, but at the same time, like, this is what she could have been if she was raised properly.
Yeah. That's something I gotta say. Sure, it's hindsight, this 2020 and all that. But watching Game of Thrones, when you know that she goes insane,
it's clear from like season 1.
In season 1, she's insane.
See, this is why I didn't mind the last season, because I saw that. Like in season 2, I was like, yeah, she's gone crazy. She's gonna fuck up. She's gonna become just like her dad.
But so obvious.
A lot of people were mad about that because they were like, no, why would she go crazy?
She was such a good guy. Was she?
No.
She was taking an army across the sea to take back the throne. She was crazy from the
get-go. People.
Yes,
just because
she burned an entire city when she freed those slaves in the second season.
Yeah, but she freed the slaves. Yeah, but she still killed a bunch of innocents.
She burned innocent peasants and farmers and market people.
Well, like the children of the lords. She killed them. She didn't care.
She was nuts.
Exactly, which is why I didn't hate the 8th season.
Yeah, so yeah. But like I said, it's hindsight. Maybe people didn't really get it. They saw her as,
they were blinded by her
strong woman. And
yeah, they were blinded by the feminism and the white hair and nudity, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, so now I'm just waiting for Rhaenyra to snap. Well, I'm hoping she doesn't, but I'm not surprised if she does.
She does have tendencies towards it in certain. She's very cold sometimes, and just like, oh shit, she might actually go crazy at one point.
Yeah. But then you had that scene with her and
Alicent?
Alicent, yeah. When they're praying at the altar with the lights or candles, you're just like, oh shit, she's sad, she's crying. Wait,
yeah, but I mean,
she's
even
like a real person.
Even when she's just like in the forest, in the Godswood or whatever, talking. No, not the Godswood. The woods Kingswood. Where they hunt the stag. Yeah. When she's run away and she's showing emotion, she's not just like freezing and walking away. No, she's running away like a child, even though she's like 16 by now.
Yeah.
She's letting her emotions reign without being an asshole about it.
Yeah. So, I'm
very excited.
Very excited to see where this leads.
And we will definitely have to keep talking about it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we won't make an episode about every episode, but we'll get back to
one, every few episodes or something. Because this one, like I said, first season is 10 episodes planned.
Yeah, so we'll definitely get back to it, because I'm going to watch at least this whole season.
Yes.
We briefly discussed doing another episode on Rings of Power. Have you watched the 3rd episode yet?
Is it out?
Oh, maybe it isn't.
I think that's on like Fridays or Saturdays or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
I haven't checked, if I'm being honest.
No.
I'm not excited, but I will look at episode 3 and I'll see if it does anything towards, anything better, then maybe I'll continue, but if it doesn't, I'm going to give up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the 3rd episode isn't out yet. No. So that's good. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to have to be it for this episode, I think.
Yes.
Because these episodes we try to keep a little shorter. So thank you so much for listening. Please tell us, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can, of course, leave a comment. Tell us what you think about the show. Are you excited for it? Do you think it's better or worse than the original show,
If you're hearing it anywhere else, you can always hit us up on Instagram or Twitter.
Yes.
To tell us.
There should be links. There's a link tree somewhere.
Everywhere.
I've started using that link. And if you wanna get the exclusive unaired pilot, and you want to get exclusive episodes of our other podcast, the Spoilercast, and commentary tracks and stuff like that, tell us what shows we talk about in the future, what movies we talk about in the future. Check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Go in for the $3 tier. That's where you get the most bang for your buck.
Yes.
But other than that, once again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.